In response to the economic challenges brought about by COVID-19, different banks in South Africa are currently implementing some debt relief measures to try and assist customers in need of such services. Now, in keeping with Morning Live's plan to bring the different banks to address their customers on these relief measures made available to counter the crisis, we speak today to Funeka Montjane, who is Standard Bank's Country Executive for Personal and Business Banking, and she joins us on the line now. Funeka, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you and morning to the listeners.
So if you can just talk us through, first and foremost, some of the relief programs that Standard Bank has put on offer for your customers who may be in need of assistance.
No, thank you. This is such an important question at this point in time. And in a way, you can't actually say enough because there's so much information out there. The first one is that, I guess the three things that I want to say is that the anchor to all the relief that we have is your track record. So if you're a client that was in good standing as at the end of February or the end of March, even better, then we've got two types of relief. The first one is installment relief of up to 3 months. And depending on how things go, it is quite probable that that can be extended. And the second one is particularly for small businesses in partnership with the South African government, but also facilitating entities like the South African Future Trust, is to enable access to funding to pay for operational expenses.
So you say that these relief measures are in most part for those who have been in good standing. But of course, we know that this pandemic has scuppered everybody. So if someone's matters were perhaps not in the best standing, does that mean that there's absolutely no relief available to them?
So the first thing is that the determination of in good standing is at the beginning of the lockdown, so to speak, or all the measures. So think about the end of February, sort of end of March. In terms of what we see in our book, a vast majority of our customers qualify. So we're talking over 85% of clients, in fact, were in good standing as at that point in time. If you find yourself in that 15%, it does not mean that you don't automatically qualify, but it means that you have to talk to us so that we can find a different solution that might work. So an installment relief, for example, might not be the right answer for you, or a 3-month installment relief might not be. So the question is to actually call us so that we can tailor a solution.
So just in terms of the different kinds of loan agreements that customers may have with your bank, Funeka, talk to us about, who is in the main being targeted by yourselves for these relief programs.
So I think because of this unprecedented, wide-scale nature of this impact, everybody actually does qualify. We do have two groups. Actually, there's probably 3 groups of people to talk about. The first groups of people are people who have credit life and have suffered loss of income, either through retrenchment or their credit life cover specifically protects them for loss of income. So that's one group that we cater. The second group of clients are the ones that we give them an automatic restructure. They don't actually even have to call us. And those are 3 groups: students, full-time students, people who earn under 7,500, as well as small businesses with turnover of under 20 million. So those 3 groups, they don't even have to call us. They automatically qualify for restructures. They must only call us if they do not want the restructure because they've got, or in the installment relief because they've got other source of income. And then everyone else, we're saying, well, in reality, different people are affected differently. You will be surprised, my sister, to learn that quite a vast majority of people in the month of April, in fact, did pay their installments. And that's because it's because people have savings, or some large corporates, for example, continue to pay salaries. So we can't actually, for the rest of the population, we can't apply one size fits all. But we've asked people to actually call us, email us, and as we stand now, we have offered installment relief of over 10% of our book. So we're sitting closer to about 70 billion. and have covered about 250,000 South Africans.
Funeka, you speak about Credit Life. Let's talk to that a little bit. Have you or do you have an obligation to proactively inform your customers that they indeed have this provision in place?
Yes, we believe we do, and we have done that. And we've done that either through our own platforms and also on a one-on-one basis. So all customers that have Credit Life, we send them SMSs reminding them. Remember, Credit Lives are not all the same. So, for example, there are people who only have chosen to have Credit Life for only death cover, and they don't cover anything that has to do with retrenchment, for example. So we've gone out and reminded customers that this is the policy that you have, and therefore if you have policies under these particular circumstances, you qualify, and if you don't, then you don't qualify. So we've actually done the one-on-one communication part with the customers.
So at what level have your customers actually taken up these relief measures that you have put in place? And of course, with no certainty as to when the economy will actually be up and running again, what happens after 3 months? Does the bank have plans to extend the relief?
Yeah, so I think you're right. We're dealing with a very fast-moving, ambiguous situation, so we can deal with what we know right now. As we do now, vast majority of our clients have asked for 3 months installment relief and additional loans for small businesses. So for installment relief, as I've said, we've been able to offer installment relief to about 250,000 clients with the value of loans of about 70 billion rand. And basically, you're right, if this turns out to be different, we'll go back and reconsider. In fact, in 2010, after the global financial crisis, we actually had to go way over 3 months just because of what was happening at that time. So we want to give our clients absolute comfort that if things are different, we will definitely make an adjustment.
So I'm also just curious to note at this stage, Funeka, are there any repossessions that your bank is currently busy with?
Well, we can't really do repossessions at this point in time, just given the fact that the courts and everything is closed. Our bank traditionally does very little repos, simply because our main view is if someone has any sort of income, you cannot repossess. You have to work with them. Those who don't have any sort of income, it's better to work with estate agents, which we know. We've got really good, deep relationships with good estate agents. It's better to rather work with estate agents and actually help the client downscale their life into a different house than to actually do repo. Repo does not help anyone. Repo we do only in extreme situations, particularly if we can't find you. So the most important thing is talk to us. If you talk to us, 9 out of 10, we can find a solution.
Well, thanks so much, Funeka Montjane, Standard Bank's executive for personal and business banking, explaining some of the different packages designed to offer financial relief to customers during this COVID-19 period. And as I always say, we welcome you speaking to us, telling us exactly what your experiences are in this regard.